book launch of Calypso Fiesta at Skinnor Park, San Fernando, presented by the San Fernando City Corporation in collaboration with the author, of course, Dr. Rudolph Utley. And it's indeed a privilege and a pleasure of ours to present this to you today. And we celebrated its 30th anniversary as a city, and therefore, in commemoration of this milestone, there's no other greater event than this event, to celebrate such a significant event in the history of San Fernando. Without further delay, permit me to present to you, to bring opening remarks at this time, is Richard the Mayor, Alderman Junior Rebel.
I think we could do it from here. More intimate if we do that. Rather take that position around. Where it is in there. You want to hear me? Let me just take the opportunity to forego the salutation that Karen so eloquently went through. And in just some time, because we're streaming live on WAC and get the information out as we need to. Let me begin by outlining to you how this project more or less evolved. I think it was last year in November, there was our 32nd celebration of city status. We announced that San Fernando is declaring this the Year of the Arts. Of course, my good friend, businessman, may I say an opportunist, saw the opportunity and contacted me and said, we need to speak, and we need to speak. And he came down and had this idea. The idea spoke about the evolution of Fiesta, how it started, where it started, its concept, and how it arrived at where it is today. And for those of us who know the history of San Fernando, Fiesta already started in Skinnor Park, in Naparima Bowl in the 1960s. And for those who do not know, all the shows were held at Naparima Bowl in the 1960s. And the panorama started in 1963. The panorama preliminaries for the South Bands, right, was held at Naparima Bowl. Queen and King of the Bands competition was held at Naparima Bowl. When the Seamen and Waterfront had their Calypso show, and the original Young Brigade, for those of us who know the art form, when the original Young Brigade and the Silverbacks presented their team, it was at Naparima Bowl. When we had Clash of the Tents, it was Naparima Bowl. Everything was Naparima Bowl. But unfortunately, there was a fire in 1977. Naparima Bowl was burned to the ground. And somebody saw the opportunity and the benefit and how we can ensure that the event continued, and said, let us go to Skinnor Park. This is where the San Fernando City Corporation got involved, because as the governing body and the body and the agency responsible for Skinnor Park, that where the synergy between the Calypso Association, it used to be the CDC in those days, the Carnival Development Company, that Black Stallion called the Carnival Destruction Committee, not me, Stalin said that. They came up with this concept that let us find Skinnor Park. The responsibility was the city corporation at the time, in 1977, to make it happen in Skinnor Park. And those of us who know Skinnor Park well and supported the art form saw how this event evolved from a gathering. What happened at Naparima Bowl in the 60s and early 70s was the supporters of the Calypso singing, trying to make it to the national finals, came there, and only 6 finalists were selected in those days. So they came to support to make sure that whoever they supported got into the finals. So it really wasn't what it is today. But because of the expansion and because of the space available in Skinnor Park, we saw where it evolved and developed to the point where if you walk through Skinnor Park during Calypso Fiesta, you'll see a posse from Toronto, a posse from New York, a posse from London, from the very islands on the Pacific as far as Asia, and is planned a year in advance what our color scheme would be, what the menu would be. We have to have something nobody else will have, away from the crab and color thing, the oil drum and different things. So it's really something that is unique, where you can have a variety set of food, all local content in every respect, different accent, different Caribbean accent, different international accents. And that's what Fiesta means the city of San Fernando. We want to thank this Dr. Otley for his research, for the concept, and bringing this idea to the city of San Fernando. And we solely embrace it. I'm sure every San Fernando will embrace this. This is an investment by the corporation in collaboration with Dr. Rowley to ensure that the history of San Fernando and the Calypso Fiesta is preserved. We're speaking to the diaspora, we're speaking to the locals, the international, wherever they are, to support this cause. I want to thank Dr. Otley for his interest, for his commitment to the icon, because so much work went into this. So many ideas, interviews, interaction with other people. And we, on behalf of the members of council who are all here today, Deputy Mayor and myself, the CEO, who would have committed now, people may not know, to buy into an idea like this, for the council to commit to this, it requires involvement, participation, and understanding, because we cannot take state money and invest in this type of project. I want to thank FCB at this time, who came on board so far and said we will support this. And I must thank Dr. Sterling Frost, another passionate San Fernandian, who is very influential in FCB. I contacted Dr. Frost. I said, Dr. Frost, I want to make this happen. And he committed the course, and they have a representative here today. I'm going to thank FCB for their support in making this happen. The other aspect of the support was the members of the council who are all here, and I must also say it has nothing to do with political persuasion. Our council made up of UNC and PNM, but we all said we will support this, and they're here today in unison to support this project. So, and of course, the legal aspect, our corp sec is back with us, and she was there from the beginning to walk this through, and of course the CEO, because they also have to commit to this. So it would have had some grey areas, some difficult moments, but at the end of the day, it's positive, and we're here to celebrate the launch of Calypso Fiesta at Skinnor Park. And thank you.
Thank you. And as we quickly move along, now I'd like to present to you, author of the book, Dr. Otley. Please put your hands together for him as he comes.
Good evening, folks. First of all, I'd like to thank the Mayor, Junior Rubiano, for his insight, and more importantly, for his commitment to Trinidad's culture. I wish most of the other mayors in Trinidad to take a copy or imitate, or even plagiarize some of the work that Junior is doing for our culture. I think it is with wrong. This afternoon, as we celebrate this launch, I should start by first of all thanking Almighty God for his guidance, his commitment, his input into me in terms of being there to preserve and continue with the work that he has bestowed upon me. I'd like to take the opportunity also to thank my wife, Norma, who's here in the midst with us, for those moments when I am preoccupied with nothing more than my research. So thanks for supporting. And also like to thank a good friend who over the years has been here with our family, Fernando, who is here with us today. And most importantly, the council, the city council, and the members of the council for their input and for their agreement to go ahead with this project. In particular, I'd like to mention Ms. Lava, who, as the mayor said, there were some times when we had to work hard at resolving some of the issues and some of the concerns. And I really Mother Tanker for her guidance, her perseverance, and also her guidance, her legal guidance in terms of how we proceeded with this project. Without the corporate support for citizens and others, we won't be able to do it. So for citizens and all the other people who have sent their financial support to us, we want to say thanks for your input. What is this book all about? As was briefly outlined by the mayor, there are a number of factors that I want to highlight today. First of all, the term or the product of Calypso Fiesta started way back in the 1940s, 1946, but it was actually called Calypso Fiesta in 1954. And the first set of semi-finals, because it evolved out of this notion of Calypso and Carnival being based on competitions. And they felt that, they meaning the Carnival Development Committee, they felt that two things should happen with Calypso Fiesta. One, it should be the forerunner to the selection of the finalists for the Calypso King competition, which we had changed to Calypso Monarch. And secondly, with our attainment of independence in 1962, the government of the day decided that they needed to separate some of the major carnival activities, move some away from Port of Spain, and have them coincidentally seeing the erection of the Napier Bowl in 1963. They felt that in 1964, the first Calypso Fiesta at the Bowl was held. But before that, it was held at the Queen's Park Savannah in Port of Spain up to 1963. So from 1964 to 1970, Calypso Fiesta was held at Napier Bowl. And then in 1970, there was a disturbance between the Calypso Association and the Carnival Development Committee. It resulted in most of the top Calypsonians staging their own Calypso 10 competition at Skinnor Park in 1970. It was a tremendous success. Coincidentally, the same day they held their competition at Skinnor Park, Calypso Fiesta was held at the Bowl. That was a financial disaster. And what happened in 1971? The CDC then decided, okay, if Skinnor Park is such a good venue for Fiesta, we'll move Fiesta to Skinnor Park. So that was the first incarnation of Fiesta at Skinnor Park, 1971. As I said, based on the financial disaster in 71, the CDC reverted to the Bowl, Napier Bowl, in 1972. And they kept it at the Bowl in 1972 until 1977, when, as the mayor rightly pointed out, it was a fire at the Bowl that destroyed the Napier Bowl. So from February 1977 until 2020, Fiesta was held at the Napier Bowl, at Skinnor Park in San Fernando. It has grown to be one of the most important carnival products in the Trinbago Carnival season. And there are a number of reasons for that. I think one of the major reasons is the input, the commitment, and the desire of the various mayors of the city of San Fernando to ensure that San Fernando have an event that is world class and that is one that continues to grow and provide tremendous enthusiasm, tremendous cultural activities, tremendous calypsos, and a great evening for all who attend. And Regrello is basically continuing in that vein of ensuring Calypso Fiesta continues to be one of the top products for Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. The other thing I want to point out is the fact that the Calypso tents have suffered as a result of Calypso Fiesta. I'll tell you why. Prior to Fiesta being a major event, most Calypso enthusiasts would visit the Calypso tents. And then added to that, you would not have had more than 16 artists at Fiesta during a normal carnival season. However, from the year 2000, the Calypso Fiesta competitors increased from 16 to 40. So therefore it makes little sense, given the crime situation at night, going to the tents, the insecurity of parking and all those things regarding the Calypso tents. Patrons have taken the opportunity to forego the Calypso tents and come to Fiesta, where they hear the top 40 Calypsos every year, in a safe environment, in a friendly environment, in an environment where they can both enjoy themselves and still be exposed to the top Calypsos of the year. So it has had an effect on the Calypso art form, in particular reference to the Calypso tents. However, it has also produced and ensured a high standard of Calypsos being performed at Fiesta. People or Calypsonians do not make joke with the Calypso they perform at Calypso Fiesta. Out of that has emerged what we call the toilet paper segment, which is really a major part of Calypso Fiesta. And it's not only to degrade or denigrate any Calypsonian, but it's also a part of the Fiesta that people look forward to. And it goes from political affiliation, it goes from the way you dress, the talk that you sing about, how you behave on stage, a whole gamut of reasons why the toilet paper comes out and becomes part of what we know as Calypso Fiesta. It has generated its own ecology, this whole Fiesta, whereby certain behaviors are expected. Certain symbols represent Fiesta, which is the toilet paper. You have the t-shirt section, where people have specific design t-shirts for the occasion. You have the food, as the name mentioned a while ago. You also have the expectation early in the morning that people run for their particular 5 yards of the Skinnor Park too, and lay down their table and you dare not venture into it, because it's holy ground for people who have been attending the Fiesta for over 4 decades and more. So Calypso Fiesta, it's more than just Calypso. And I think the mayor recognized that very easily when we spoke in terms of why we should do this project. Because apart from signifying Calypso, it says something about the city of San Fernando, whereby the city of San Fernando is ensuring that the activities that are held in the city of San Fernando are not only for the benefit of the patrons or the citizens of the city, but for the nation as a whole. People will tell you they leave any part of Trinidad to ensure they get their day and their time at Fiesta in San Fernando. And despite all the things that may happen with Calypso and Tuco and the change of venues and things, Tuco dare not, will not even think about moving Fiesta from Skinnor Park. I think if Tuco were to say a revolution within its fraternity and within the society, is to even mention that in passing, that they want to move Fiesta from Skinnor Park. So that although Fiesta has started in Port of Spain and has moved from different parts of San Fernando, from Aprima Bowl to Skinnor Park, and the last time was Garrett Park, we could hardly wait for the reopening of Fiesta at the newly refurbished Skinnor Park sometime in 2022, Mr. Mayor. Yes. So we're looking forward to the reopening of the refurbished Skinnor Park 2020. Now, what is to be expected when you purchase this book or you get yourself one of these books? Apart from the archival information, where we have archival pictures from 1964, the first time at Aprima Bowl, we have information from the 1963 from the Queen's Park Savannah. A survey was conducted to determine or affirm why people really attend Calypso Fiesta. What are the motivating factors for them? I will tell you the results, but I'm just mentioning it. We did a survey with people who why they attend. We did a survey with Calypsonians as to how they feel when they are left out of Fiesta. I know Kenny Phillips would give you a good example of how we felt when he was left out. Because, you know, it adds to someone's resume as a Calypsonian. When you make one Fiesta or 25 Fiesta, if you are a big Calypsonian and you never make Fiesta, trust me, you ain't ready to use it. So we're looking forward to Kenny next couple of years. So we did survey trying to determine and to ensure that a number of factors are relevant to the publication, not only in terms of history, but in terms of some of the live, emotive things that bring people to Fiesta and Skinnor Park. It's very important that we understand that, and therefore in the book you'll find that statistical information and that survey report for your view. We also have some archival pictures of Calypsonians over the years who were photographed attending or performing at Fiesta. And most importantly, we have a listing of all of the Calypsonians from 1956 to 2020 who participated or sang at Calypso Fiesta from Knot River Road to Skinnor Park and then to Caravan. So it's a document I think it's worthy of your finances, and it's a global season these days, but it's worth the investment, and I'm sure the mayor will ensure that he gives you a reduced price. Subsidized. So once again, I want to thank the mayor and the council for believing and trusting in the mission, and wish you continued success, Mr. Mayor, and the council, and your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ugly. And of course, I know all of us are surely looking forward to Calypso Fiesta Skinnor Park 2.0, and it's fully developed and finished, state, amen. So at this time, I'd like to welcome the president of TUCO, Mr. Ainsley King. We would like to give him an opportunity at this time to bring some grace.
Thank you very much. I would like to express how happy I am to be in San Fernando this afternoon. I would like to recognize the mayor. I would like to also recognize the author of this book, Mr. Rudolph Ortley. And I must say that this book deals with, I first must recognize everybody, sorry about that. The book here, it brings a feeling to me because I know that Calypso Fiesta, Skinnor Park, has grown to become an institution in Trinidad and Tobago and also across the world. People look forward to this event. All roads normally lead to San Fernando. This book and its title, to me, will touch a lot of nerves because this event is a well-attended event. The anticipation is normally very high from across Tobago to each corner of Trinidad and Tobago. And people will come out, and I know that there is a lot of stories that could be told where this event is concerned, because I'm sure that everybody have their story. Because where Calypso is concerned, this venue has created a hub where a lot of stars got their debut, where a lot of Calypsonians climaxed and were at their best. The history is rich, very, very, very rich. And I urge as much people as possible to support this book, because to me, where Calypso is concerned, Skinnor Park carries, to me, the richest history. And I mean from Lord Kitchener to some of the greatest and some of the new artists, you know, they all had to go through it. And as Mr. Rudolph said, if you make it to Skinnor Park in the Calypso world, it's like, yeah, make it. So, I bring greetings on behalf of the organization, and I want to express again how happy I am to be invited here this evening and to be a part of this book launch. Because to me, I know the significance behind Skinnor Park San Fernando. I know the rich history it carried, and I know what it means for Calypso. I want to thank you, Mr. Holly, for having me. Thank you to the mayor, and I wish this book great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. So, we would not like to prolong things much longer, but we want to give the media an opportunity probably to ask just one question to our head table this afternoon. So, members of the media, you are here. We want to give at least an opportunity to ask one question to the Switch Media and Dr. Ugly this afternoon just before we wrap up.
Now, while we prepare, we request the media to gather the questions. These are two representatives' points. Something just came to mind. How many of us remember Marshall Montano singing Too Young to Soca? How old was Marshall at 10 or 9 or 10 years in a semi-final and a final? How many remember Super Blue singing Soca Baptist before anybody knew who he was? And how was all kind of commotion in the art form and other protests from an organization because it was inappropriate? How many remember Sparrow, great mighty Sparrow, Dr. Slinger Francisco, having to more or less expose himself in some way, saying that I want to Skinnor Park again. Skinnor Park is really the testing ground. It's the acid test. If you can survive Skinnor Park, you can survive anything. And those of us who know Skinnor Park well, know the culture, know the history, talk about so many memories that we have of how the art form evolved, and how many people's hearts were broken in Skinnor Park. Some meaning. So San Fernando is unique in a very positive way, and Fiesta remains our signature event. So, and let me just take the opportunity to boast a bit about the new Skinnor Park. The new Skinnor Park will be ready. If not, well, the proposed date is March of 2022. And in light of the challenges we are faced with the pandemic, we are not sure what format Carnival will take in 2022, if at all. However, I want to guarantee you that Skinnor Park will be ready for 2023. And it will be an amazing venue. There will be new prospects in terms of business opportunities and how it has evolved in the past 2 years or so. We're really ready and for the audience and for type of business that we anticipate and envisage. Raising the bar for how these shows are done. For those of us who have attended, if you know the history of Calypso Tents, it started in the backyard, how it was. And it was opposed to where it was done. You really get it, you see like rock concerts, with a huge mega screen and stage and sound system and equipment. That's where it's supposed to be, but we are designing of that. That's the way it's supposed to be. And it's going to be road worthy when that happens in a year or 2 times. So we are excited and looking forward to it as we expand and we support.
I do hope that Foucault will be the first to buy a book here this evening, right? I'm just putting that forward. I hope I'm not feeling.
Yes, we appreciate it. And what is also important, my friends, what is so important is that I've been talking about this, and we started in January of this year. This started from inside the city celebration this year. This is our work week. Our work is on Tuesday, and we appropriately selected this day's event to coincide with the importance and the significance of celebrating what we do with it as a city. And this is why it is also significant and important. So we look forward to your support and going forward. And so Tupa's buying the first book, or the first book or first set? Because you have the bridges for the northern region, southern region, the Tobago region, and central regions and east region. So that's the marketing aspect of it. But I mean, there's so much more, the content of this in terms of history, quiz, doing it. For instance, I am a fan person, but if you ask the average person who won the Promenade in 1956, what tune they sang? 1957, what tune they sang? You don't know it. I can tell you some of these things because of my love for the art form and interest in Calypso. Because Calypso is really what reflected the history of Grand Tobago. If you want to know what happened in Trinidad in 1970, listen to Duke. If you want to listen to Duke Calypso of 1970, the album of that year, Sparrow album, Kitchener album, about the curfew. So we will tell those stories if we don't continue to record and document the history of this art form. And this is not to be taken lightly. This is a particular part of our history and how we see and how we reflect on things. Of humor. When we were writing the book a while ago, we heard Steve Kitchener's the Love in the Cemetery. But it would take some time to listen to that. So that is creativity and imagination out of this world. The last verse in that Calypso, Kitchener's Love in the Cemetery. About two people were making love in the cemetery. And they saw a ghost. And the fellow took off and left the woman by the tomb. When he got to almost the end of the cemetery, he saw a man. The man said, "Where are you going with that speed?" He said, "Well, we are just kissing my girlfriend and I saw a ghost across." He said, "Why, are you running fast?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "When I got a life, I do the same thing." That tells you the imagination and the thought that went into these things. We have a great gift here called Calypso, and we need to support it. So we open the questions for the author and myself. Simone, well, Simone. Question you want? From the news state.
She need a mic. Should she get a mic?
Mic.
A mic, a portable.
Afternoon. Sorry for being late, but I did not hear enough of what is happening here to ask a question. But what I found very interesting is the point that Dr. Adri was making regarding the reason why tents have lost their audiences. And you talk about the fact that there are now 40 people, 40 of the top Calypsonians who are, presenting in one spot. But is that the only factor? Or because we have heard so many reasons why tents have lost their audiences, and we have the political aspect and all those other reasons. So is that the only or the major factor why Skinnor has taken away the audiences?
Okay. I don't think it's fair to pinpoint any one specific factor that would account for the dwindling of attendance and students. I think there's a myriad amount of factors. But Skinnor Park adds another dimension to Carnival. And therefore, to understand the whole dimension or what is taking place with the tents and Carnival, we must reflect a bit. Before the 1990s or early 2021, that period, you found that the Carnival ecology was limited to the Calypso tent, maybe a neighborhood event. There were no boat rides, there were no all-inclusive events, there were no, the activities or the number of activities in Carnival have increased tremendously. And therefore, going to a tent is not as significant today as it was in 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And to add to it, you go to a Calypso tent, and the Calypso tent affords you a variety to some degree, but you have to sit through most of the Calypsos, the 25 Calypsonians. They already have 3 or 4 of them. When you come to Fiesta, you get in 40 of the best. And therefore, for some people, rather than go through the hassle of going to the tents at night, it's more convenient to make an event out of Fiesta. Because it's not just for the Calypso, you meet your old friends, you line, you talk about carnival, you talk about all kinds of things, and therefore within that camaraderie, within that sense of friendship and bonding, you hear calypsos and blues. So that to say whether it's a political reason or ethnic reason or crime or whatever as the major one, I don't think so. But if you put all of them together, we can say these are some of the factors that have caused patrons to not go to the Calypso tents as they used to do in the 60s and 70s. Added to which, the carnival has changed tremendously. There are more events to attend to, and going to Calypso tent is not a major thing for some people anymore. Added to the fact, our Calypso tent patrons have always been a mature group of people. This mature group of people over the years have either died and going out, or whatever reason not going to the tents again. Because we have inherited in our culture, young people or children shouldn't be taken to a Calypso tent. So what resulted from that is when you became an adult, you started to go to Calypso tents. Now, as you become an adult and there are more activities for you to participate in, since you haven't had the groundings in Calypso tents, it really takes a young person with a keen sense of wanting to know what Calypso is about to really be interested to go to a Calypso tent. Because remember, we never used to take our kids to Calypso tents because the reason being, it used to be so-called obscene, it's a big people thing, and all kinds of reasons we have. So we never prepared our young population for visiting Calypso and Calypso tents. And that's another factor. And now that you become older, you don't want to go to the tents because there are other things to go to. The 28-year-old or the 25-year-old. No one wants to know enough begging this far away for 2.5 hours. If before they go to a boat ride, go to a state-sponsored party, do something else. So we have created, in a sense, of our own demise in terms of not being able to attract a new cadre of people to the Calypso because the institutionalized people, the elder people, the people in the 40s and 50s and 60s, have stopped coming to the tents for all various reasons.
So, considering all of the factors you have laid out, how do we save the Calypso tent? Because it's still a part of our culture and our history, right? And there are still people who prefer to go to a tent to experience that kind of tent-like atmosphere that you may not necessarily get at the fiesta. So how do we save the Calypso tents?
Okay, I want to disagree with your statement about saving tents. There's nothing wrong with the tents. The tents
no, but you're saying that
the numbers
are dwindling. If there's not an economic factor to keep this sustaining, I think that while we love culture and all of that, people need to be paid, they need to eat and drink.
Over the history of the Calypso tents, we have always had fluctuating numbers. For example, the commercialized Calypso tent started in 1921. And between 1921 and the Second World War, people packed the tents during the same period. After the World War, between the World War, the end of World War II and independence, people did not go to the tents as much as they did prior to World War II. So there have always been reasons and there have always been situations whereby people have found reasons not to go to the tent. So the tent will not disappear. And it's the same to save it. It's being a little bit overly excited about the terminology. However, the tent will have to re-examine itself. And I said the tents. TUCO is now responsible for most of the Calypso tents. And TUCO will have to really take time to re-examine the format of the tents. Whether it's necessary to have 6 Calypso tents, rather than have 2, one in the north and one in the south, or 3, and one in Tobago. So those kinds of analysis must be done by TUCO, because they are the major tent providers now. There are few private tents like Review, the Divas, the best tent in the whole world, and Icons and those kinds of tents. But those tents will survive. But I'm saying since TUCO, they are responsible for those 6 Calypso tents, where the majority of Calypsonians are dependent on them during that 4-week period. TUCO must sit with its zonal or its council, and determine is it necessary for us to have 6 tents. And out of that, so that if you have one tent in North, where you have 30 or 35 top-notch calypsonians who will give you a certain caliber of calypsos, people will go back to the tents because they look for something that is good. The other thing to question now, negotiate with this membership. Whether or not each time, because you're a member of TUCO and because you sing calypso, that you're supposed to be in tent. That those kinds of discussions must take place because TUCO is well-intended intention to say, well, okay, all our members should be involved in carnival. Does that mean because you're a member, you must sing in a tent? In spite of the kind of calypso you're producing for the year. So in its attempt to ensure it's a membership provided with some income, according to Progress, they have chosen some water to brandy. And therefore, people have to make those hard decisions. You're a member, and therefore you have to come up to scratch. If you don't, then you're not singing, because that is another factor that has prevented you from the defense. The quality of the calypsos have really declined. So it's like a damage of the issues we have to deal with when we start talking about things.
Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Webb.
In the area of the tents, the advent of social media wasn't there. Right? So now that social media is there, you would have gone to the tent back then because you would not have seen that artist or heard that artist anywhere else. Now when you advent of social media, you can listen to someone's track on YouTube anytime you want. And as I said, the generation that goes to tents is an aging population. And the younger people are not as much interested in going to the tents because they don't see it doesn't appeal to them. Right? So I agree with you that the format needs to change if they have to get new people into the organization and into the tents. But the tents themselves, as you rightly pointed out, they need to be structured. They get because as you said, the older people are moving on, and the young people are just not interested. They want, and also, a factor also is that you don't get enough local music on the radio stations. So they're highly influenced from what is outside. So if they don't even know what their culture is, they're more influenced. They can tell you every Jamaican artist, but they can't tell you 10 of the founding fathers of Calypso. So that there is also one of the problems.
From PPT, any questions related to Calypso Fiesta this book?
Yeah. Okay, I'm asking this question for someone who is viewing on Facebook Live. And he says, well, actually he's working white, right? So I said to him, ask Kenny. He said, no, I wanted no. You want the answer? No. The question is, could you name a big Calypsonian who never made it to Fiesta?
Then he got big. That's a trivia. That's a trivia we get to before the end of the evening. We are here to discuss this book. Any questions from Mr. Phil from TPT?
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Otley, in respect to the book, I don't know if I missed a part, but when you were explaining about some of the attractions for the project, or some of the stuff that people reminisce on about Skinnor, you spoke about the picnic type atmosphere and stuff like that, where people have their drinks and stuff. My point is Skinnor Park itself, how the venue used to be. Is that mentioned in the book as part of the real attraction to the Calypso Fiesta? Because at one time it's being promoted as a Calypso picnic. and not really, you know, Calypso picnic, you know, so it's the venue itself mentioned in the book as the real attraction why, you know, people flock to the Calypso Fiesta.
Yeah, but definitely from, as I said before, from 1977, when people don't say they're going to a fiesta, you know, people say they're going to my Skinnors or they're going to Skinnor Park or the park. Calypso Fiesta is hardly mentioned by the true diehard people who come down here on that Saturday. They don't say they're going to Calypso Fiesta, they're going to the park with Skinnors, with down the road, you know. So that, yes, in terms of defining the rationale for Skinnor Park, which I did in the book, in terms of why it was, apart from the fire, why it became a stateless Skinnor Park, is because of the ambience, and because of the acreage, because of the fact that it afforded that camaraderie I spoke about. It was convenient. We parked in Savannah next day, and now later on we parked at Sapa. So it provides easy access, and at the end of the day, it's something historic. You want to tell your children and your grandchildren that you went to the park without something.
It's a revenue stream for the people of Santana. That's important.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, with that in mind, it leads you now, and with the renovation of Skinnor Park to, how could I put it, or to maintain, to try to keep the atmosphere, to attract the people. Because what the book is saying, basically, it's not really so much about the Calypso as Mr. Oakley said. People, it's look at it as a fiesta to come into, based on the atmosphere. So the new Skinnor Park, it's, need to have that kind of attraction as well.
Well, the engineering and design aspect of the venue obviously would have taken fiesta into consideration. But as I said before, it's a significant event, and I'm designed for looking for other productions or other production and project of a similar nature. So the refurbishment of Skinnor Park was done in light of opportunities for mega concerts shows and to improve and enhance patronage and business opportunities.
Yes, to go representative here again. Skinnor Park, from my experience, there are many people who attend that event, and it's not really about the Calypso for some people. For some people, it's about being there, because the event has grown to become such a big institution that on that day, it have people who just want to be there. But I wanted to mention this quickly because I heard stories about the Calypso tent when before Tuko took charge of Calypso, and I understood it was like private promoters at the time, the Jazzy Pantins and the other promoters, and it appeared as if, based on the stories, that they had something that made the events that they had at the time very successful. And it's as if something has lost. And that something we need to find it back. One thing I could remember hearing from the stories is there was a mix, because in the attendance, our East Indian brothers used to fully text. I don't know how true that is. But we are not seeing that now. What it is that would, of course, that we have to look at it, because I think that Trinidad and Tobago, where culture is concerned, the East Indian plus the Calypso music, it's something that is very special. It makes us unique, and I mean that if we could find a way to keep a blend or to keep a positive mix between them, I think that may be an angle. But whatever it is that is lost, we need to find it back, because it seems like from then to now, a lot has changed.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for all the questions. this afternoon. Quickly, as we come to a close this afternoon, allow me to welcome Mr. John Clifton, who will do a short 5-minute presentation. Actually, San Fernando City Corporation, we will be launching officially our website as well. And Mr. John Clifton is going to prove me a man true to my word. His presentation is going to last 5 minutes, so please welcome him at this time.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Clifton. I am the Local Economic Development Officer for San Fernando, and it is my pleasure to present to you all this afternoon the launch of the San Fernando City Corporation's web presence. This has been a project that has been solely undertaken by the City Corporation internally for the sake of cost reduction. And what we intend to do with this website is to have a permanent presence on the internet that is different when compared to social media. Social media is the way you can grab each person's attention. This is the manner in which we intend to interact with the public and have a deeper level of information and exchange with the public. One of the main features we have of the website right now is the main aspects that interact with the public on a regular basis, which is the city engineering, public health, municipal police and safety, as well as complaints. In essence, what we intend to do is to begin to digitize the services that we offer to the public. The first level of introduction will simply be submission of forms for application for services such as food badges, for bulk waste pickup, and also for the lodging of complaints, so that we can better streamline and provide better services to the citizens of San Fernando. The next step, which we will be embarking on at a later date, will actually consist of accepting payments online. But we are a bit away from that right now because it's a little bit more technical. So if I could just shortly show you all how we can access the online application for the food badges. All the information that regular walk-in citizens will come into the corporation to access. We have everything online. And it also gives the corporation an ability to start to track data in a more meaningful manner. Especially when you look at public health scenarios where we can track complaints that could actually lead to health scenarios and health situations. Now we have an additional tool for public health to better track and graph where things are going. One of the other services that we'll be launching very soon is to introduce citizens in submitting information to us. Part of our growth as a city is to get that collection of data that we can apply towards the provision of better policies moving forward. So, for instance, one of the
Please forgive me, Mr. Clifton, but just an announcement. Can the drivers of PBW?
Yes. So
Your mic is off.
So we can actually start to track information in a more deep and meaningful manner, which will enable us and members of council as policy creators to better cater services towards the citizens of San Fernando. Also, as an information portal, we are going to be seeking deeper engagement with citizens. Just as the launch of this book is an encapsulation of the history of San Fernando, we will now be able to digitally store certain aspects of our history online, whether it's through interaction with our older citizens or younger people, creation of events, and other services like that. Oh, and the final thing, for wrapping up in my 5 minutes, one of the major things that we'll be introducing is the San Fernando Job Bank. We intend for the city of San Fernando to act as a facilitator not a primary employer, where we can engage both employers and job seekers at a level that we can introduce them to one another. So this system really allows an employer to come online and post their jobs. And then conversely, job seekers can come online and look for jobs and actually submit their applications, both if they have it in Word format, and as well as in a simple, streamlined format to put in the information that they have. The job bank really, we are, like I said, are just the facilitators, because employment really is the economic engine of San Fernando, and it's how we will be able to have a better quality of life for all our citizens. So this is just the first phase of our digital output, and we'll be moving at a very rapid pace to meet up with our peers and our regional corporations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clifton, for that. San Fernando City Corporation actually launching officially its website, and you can get more details right after. This brings us to the end of today's proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank each and every one of you all for making it out today. And of course, be sure to grab a copy of our book, Calypso Fiesta, Skinnor Park, and spread the word as well. We thank you once more. Of course, if you grab it, you're going to have to pay for it as well, right? But we thank you all so much, and we'll have a pleasant afternoon. Thank you, everyone.